that has a bunch of layers. It reminds me of something that I could hear from an artist like Billie Eilish, also inspired by some of the production of Finneas. As always, I think there's gonna be a lot to take away from. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, you can find me over at GavinHadley_. BeatStar is also GavinHadley_. And I'm working on a multi-kit right now that's gonna contain a bunch of cool accents, one-shot, textures, perk loops, alternative drums, synth bends. Let me know anything else that you guys would like to hear in it down below in the comments. And without further ado, let's get into it. So to make it simple, there are a lot of layers in the beat, but we're going to break it down into 3 parts. The parts being the guitar, the ambience layers, and then our drums. To begin, I'm just going to play what I was playing on guitar. I'll put some chord diagrams on screen for you guys so you can see my chords a little bit better. After that, in the guitars, I wanted to add a bunch of cool pluck sounds just coming from a bunch of different guitars. So we have that acoustic right there that you just heard. We have a nylon string guitar that's sitting back there. And there's a third guitar. My friend Miles helped me with this beat, and he has his guitar in there as well. The first one sounds like this. This is an acoustic pitched down an octave. And then we have a higher octave coming here. Those sit well underneath our chords. And then we also have this one, actually the normal octave version of the first one I played. This is actually an electric guitar, so there's 4 guitars. I was wrong. We have this one up here. More electric. Yeah, these electric chords are pretty tucked in the background. I didn't want them to be super prominent just because they aren't the same exact chords as that original guitar that we're basing this all around, so they kind of clash, so you want to keep them a little bit tucked. This is what they sound like though on their own. Yeah, the second chord's different from the second chord in our other progression. And for effects on that, I have archetype Corey Wong. Just on the default preset, just wanted some general distortion on the guitar. I'm drowning it out in a plate reverb, so just wanted some distortion. Then we have an EQ, just taking out some low end, and an imager widening. So here's my nylon string guitar that comes in the second half. And on its own, that just sounds like this. We have an EQ just taking out some low end and some of those harsh frequencies. And then we have a little bit of a chorus, a lot of compression on the guitar. And then we have a sound shifter plugin on a lot of these guitars that are pitching them up an octave. And then I just mix back the mix knob over here on the right to blend it in with the original octave. And then I'm using some sort of tape preset on most of the guitars too. Just playing set notes on the fretboard. I pan them all left and right, sort of blend them in with the other guitar. It just makes for cool ear candy. I'm not trying to have any part sort of stand out on its own. And then I have this lead on electric here. So I pitched that down an octave, I panned it a little bit to the left. I have sound shifter on it with that up an octave, blending it back a little bit. And that lead is in the same bus as this electric guitar right here that I broke down earlier. And now as we move into the ambient section, I'm just gonna have that acoustic guitar playing. I'm gonna bring in each new sound over that acoustic so you guys can hear it a little bit better. First thing though is this bass, just highlighting it on our root notes. And with these, as you can see, I'm just jumping around octaves. We have our B's here for the root note of the first chord. We just have them going up and down. Same thing for the second chord. I just have this note up high here, jumping down back and forth, just to create some sort of bounce. And then sometimes pulling off of the bass note, so there's just silence, like right here. Now we have this mellotron that is playing the chords. Sounds like this. And each chord is just spaced over a little bit. It's a B major 7 chord. For my effects on that, I have a delay, I have a compressor on the transient smasher presets, I have sound shifter pitching it down an octave, I have an EQ taking out a little bit of low end, and then I have RC20 on the depth for Plux preset. It's a cool preset for adding cool space, ambience, and a little bit of distortion to your sound. Now I have the sound from this whirly emulator. It's just running up the scale. All I did was place each one of these notes all sort of just on top of each other like this. Command S on a Mac to open up the strum menu. Strum them a little bit so each one is sort of... And then it's just Control S on Windows, I'm pretty sure. And that is what gives it that pluck, sort of flowy sound. And I have a guitar amp on that. It's just archetype on the default preset, just a little bit of distortion, just to sort of make it stand out a little bit better. Here we have this vocal pad. It's a super cool sound. This is what it sounds like in the bass. And up higher. So we just have all of our chords here, and what I did is just spread out the voicings a little bit. So we have all of our root notes down here. We have a little bit of a lead going on here with these notes that just sort of keep this progression driving, and the chords are sort of meant just to stay tucked behind. I just like the warm character of the sound, and I just think it added nicely to the beat. It's turned down super low, it's panned to the right. I have RC20 on it, an EQ taking out a little bit of low end, and then sound shifter that's pitching it down an octave and giving it that super rich low sound. After that, I have a piano that is doing a similar technique, highlighting our root notes and having some intervals in those mid frequencies. And then I have a few little runs down as well. It's so quiet, you can actually barely hear it in the final track, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Like, listen, just with... You can really only hear the higher notes. I have the sound from Labs. It's just a super ambient high-pitched sound. The beat had a lot of ambient layers at this point, but nothing in this higher octave, so that's why I added it. I wanted to be playing continuously in the background of the beat, so I have these, the G sharp and the C sharp, that do a really good job just standing out throughout the second part, and then in the beginning here with the A sharp and the C sharp, and then it's an A sharp and a C sharp again, but I put the C sharp that was supposed to be here down an octave. This pans to the left with a little bit of RC20 on it, making it a little bit more distorted. And then I have a sound from the Mellotron plugin. It's called Murderous Intent, and then I put RC20 on it that's giving it its character. Before RC20 it sounds like this. Again, just to sort of drill out in the background, stay tucked behind everything, sort of gluing all of our layers together. And now after that, it's going to be into the drums. I also have this texture that sounds like this in the background of the whole beat, playing throughout. Use it in a lot of beats. To begin, I started with this kick from Easy Drummer. It sounds like this. After that, I added this rim sound. And then I wanted to fill up space in between that rim sound and the kick drum, so I added this tom. Then I have a continuous hi-hat that plays throughout that just does a good job gluing all of our other drum layers together. I have a hat to accent that. It sounds like this. plate reverb on that. I have an EQ, takes out a lot of low end. Then I have RC20 on the strain space preset. Before it sounds like this. With. And then to top it all up, I just have another instance of Easy Drummer that is playing some crashes. I have a spring reverb that sort of eases it into the rest of the track. And then I have a compressor on the Dirty Drums preset that's doing a lot of distorting. And that's where the reverb comes in handy, sort of taming that distortion a little bit and tucking it back behind the rest of our drum layers and our guitars to sort of act as some ambience in the drum section. In the first part of the chorus, I did something I haven't really done in a lot of beats. It's a technique that worked out well in this one. It was cool because we had so many different layers going. Thought it would be a good idea to experiment with a little like pauses, taking things in and out, just letting the drums stay in. And this is what that ends up sounding like. So we take out most of our melodic elements on every other snare hit, and for this beat, it just ended up working out really well. And I also added the very final thing. I know I could just go on forever. There's a full mess down here, but we're not even gonna get into that. What I did is I just basically breathed, like I took a quick gasp into the microphone, went like, that's what it sounds like. Yeah, I was doing a bunch of gasps. I ended up pitching them down, putting a little bit of compression on them, a little bit of reverb too, but those just come in when everything else is coming out, sort of act as a little tuck riser. And then those are for real going to be all of our elements. And boom, there we have it. As always, I hope you guys were able to take something away from this video today. Comment down below any future video suggestions for me. They're always appreciated and they help out a lot. Feel free to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys for watching, sticking around to this point in the video. As always, have an awesome rest of your night, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.